The day before, I watched Empire Strikes Back. I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. Didn't check my phone. A few days before that, I watched The Big Lebowski. Did I check my phone? No.
What is your approach to writing a great scene?
I don't know. You never sit there and think like this scene's going to be great. I mean, sometimes you do. Actually, what usually happens is when you sit down to write a scene that's going to be great, it's not great. It's the complete opposite of great. It's something you kind of discover or you fall into. Usually, to me, I think a scene is great if there's a beginning, middle, and end. It escalates. There's like clear stakes. You're like interested in what's happening. Usually those types of things, they're happening in rewriting processes. Sometimes you get it at the first go, but not for me, at least, usually not. A lot of times too, when you reread a scene after you've rewritten it, and it does inspire you, where you're like, oh, I love how this is like working out. That is a good sign. However, though, that also can be dangerous because a lot of times you can think this is great, this is fantastic, I love this, and it doesn't make sense to anybody at all, and it doesn't even work. And I've had instances where I'm like, this is not good, this is not great, this is the opposite. And then I've had people say, these are the best pages you've ever written. So it's really hard to tell if you have something great. Sometimes, and I don't know, I think I'm learning this as I'm going along, is that you're about the work, and if you have the things you can check off in terms of, it's clear, external specific goals, things are escalating, there's no parts where you feel like in the script you're lost or there's a lull where you're bored or anything like that, like it keeps your attention. These types of tools that you have in your toolbox, you can check those off. You stick to those, and if people are reading and you're getting good reactions out of it from people you trust, then you have something good. And then it's tricky too, because from my experience, I've been very fortunate because I've written a lot that I've gone to shoot and put together. So I might think to myself, oh, this scene is really not all that great. But then on set, it became great because the actors gave it life and you were able to shoot it in a way that gave it more life, and it ends up being, I didn't even think this was going to be much. Like, this was going to be like a small little moment in the movie, and now this is like a big thing that really helps you understand better about the character or the plot or the goal. And you discovered that later. Yeah, so I mean, that's not really anything concrete. You thinking something is great can be a lie to yourself. Part of it, I think you just need to rely on your intuition. But if things are escalating and it makes you want to turn the page, that's actually great. That's really great. And if it does it for you, cool. If it does it for other people as well that you trust, all the better. Then actually that's great.
Do you obsess over every scene that you write? Or is obsession not part of your process? You kind of just let things happen?
Well, yeah, I can obsess. I can definitely get obsessed. It's good to just let things naturally happen. It is really good to let that happen. And you're allowing the creative flow to happen. I think sometimes when you get obsessed about something, it's hard to see the pitfalls or find the pitfalls, and you can even be blind to major problems with your script because you're obsessed with the one thing. I think obsession is really great if you're obsessed about something, write into it, write it out, and then come back and then edit it and see how you feel. Like, does it still give you that obsession? Because sometimes your obsession will reveal things for the character or for the story or for a sequence or for whatever that gives part of that script life. But, part of me thinks that being absolutely obsessed about this one aspect can sometimes be a hindrance of like being able to do a well-rounded story. But it's never 100%. I mean, there could be there could be a situation where you being absolutely obsessed about that is working perfect for you. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, but I don't know. That's not really wisdom. That's like Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy.
Right. What a great skit that was. How do you decide if a scene is too long?
The one thing for me, I decide if I can figure out if a scene is too long if I suddenly kind of get bored in it. I think it's like an intuition thing. If you feel like that, I mean, now it's easy to be like, oh, am I checking my phone in this scene? I should like see where things kind of lull and where you lose your attention. Because here's the thing, you can have a 10-minute scene. That doesn't mean the scene is too long. If things are driving and there's an emotional thread through it and it's escalating where you don't know what's going to happen next and you're leaning in, and it's 10 minutes, that's great. That doesn't mean it's too long. It's working great. But if you have this like 2.5-minute scene where you can't remember it, or people are not remembering what happened in that scene that's critical, then it's too long. You should think about cutting it down. That's where to start, and then there could be other variables that spider out from that. But that's a good place to start.
When you said that about checking your phone, I'm not sure where I read this, but that some movies were being produced knowing that was basically the audience.
Yeah, and I that's true. That was an article I read about from a Netflix executive.
I think I read the same one, yeah.
Which I think is absolutely horrible. The phone should never be the first screen. The first screen should be the movie, and you need to write compelling and make something compelling enough where you forget that a phone even exists.
Right.
That's your job. Your job is not to. I used to work in reality TV, and I remember the notes from the network exec. It's like, oh, we get a lot of viewers of like people are at home cooking while the show is on because of the time slot. And I remember my boss was like, let's make this show so fun to watch that it's going to be really difficult to cook.
That's good. Okay.
And we were like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. And so we made over, the show was called Mystery Diners. It was on the Food Network.
Oh, great.
And we made over 100 episodes of that show. And literally, even though we got that information from the network, we were just like, no, let's make it hard for them to cook. Let's make this as fun and compelling to watch. It wasn't like, oh, we can put our foot on the brake. It means no, let's tighten up the engine, let's put in the high octane, and let's put this baby in fifth gear, and let's make some fun TV. Let's do it. And I think that's your attitude. You're making entertainment. You got to make something compelling. I know Martin Scorsese's not sitting there thinking, well, the phone's the first screen now, so I guess I'll make this movie, kinda. I mean, he's not going to do that. And I don't think you should either, and I don't think Netflix should do it either. They're not going to listen to me. They don't care what I have to say. It's not a problem. But that's not a reason. It's not a reason. It's an excuse. That's my opinion. The other day, I watched a few movies. Which it was funny. I watched Krzysztof Kieslowski's Blue, held my attention all the way through. I didn't check my phone. The day before, I watched Empire Strikes Back. I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. Didn't check my phone. A few days before that, I watched The Big Lebowski. Did I check my phone? No. No, I didn't. But I forget, there was like a new movie I watched. I forget what it was, but I'm already forgetting what it was, and I checked my phone.
Interesting.
Another movie I watched with my son, we watched How to Train Your Dragon. Did I check my phone during How to Train Your Dragon? No, that was great. It was good. That's what we're doing. That's what we're supposed to do. What would be cool is if I could interact with the movie with my phone in some interactive experience that makes me, what am I trying to say? Like makes me explore the world more. Like imagine in John Wick with your phone, you could like go down another hallway and see something, another crazy story. I don't know. I guess they call that virtual reality, so it exists.
Sure, or a horror film where someone's alone at home and the phone rings. And then your phone rings in the theater.
Oh,
that would be great.
That would be. Oh, you know what movie that would be awesome and both horrible to do that with is The Ring. I don't know if you remember that movie, The Ring. That horror film was very impactful for me, where this girl comes out of the screen after 7 days. I remember that made that white TV snow and the most scariest thing you could experience for about a month, and especially too being a film student and working with like tube TVs. So when like the VCR would shut off, the TV would just go. That scared me half to death. So if you could create that experience on top, like with someone's phone in the movie theater or at home, that would be great.
Right. Like with a QR code, and then it has like your phone for hopefully just a little while.
Yeah, or something.
Hopefully. Yeah.
But not like this is the first thing you're looking at and that is the second thing.
Sure.
It doesn't make any sense. And if you're going to just do this, just don't have a TV and
don't go to the movies.
And don't watch movies. Just don't do it.